And now, Barack Obama shows us how to negotiate. Lesson 1, shopping for that new car. President Obama, I got to say thank you for meeting me here. I mean, I feel kind of overwhelmed. I'm not really good at negotiating. No problem. That's what I'm here for. So, what kind of car are you looking at?
It's that Cadillac CTS over there. Look, it's a beautiful car, but I mean, the guy told me like the most they'll go down is like $1,000 below sticker price. That's nuts. No way I'm paying that.
Well, let's just say I used to own GM, if you know what I mean. So, pretty sure I can get us a good deal.
Hey guys, how you doing? Anything in particular you're looking for today? Oh, hey, Mr. President, how are you? I'm Paul. It's a privilege. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. My friend and I here want to get a price on this Cadillac. And let me just say, as a guy who used to own this company, I expect a good deal.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do for you guys, of course, absolutely.
Right now, we're...
On this week's episode of According to Me and Bunny, I finally have figured out why Trump fans are the way they are, and we can thank John Boehner for that. The asshat of the week, but we're going to start talking about blacking out the pink out. Yeah, we kind of had a little bit to do with that, or at least one of us did. That's now and next here on According to Me and Bunny. Here's the story of Polita Bunny. Annoying liberals on Twitter was her goal. She had a radio show, and it was badass, with lots of fans and lots of trolls.
Here's the story of a guy named Jason who had an awesome internet talk show of his own. There were lots of voices on the air together, but he did it all alone. And one day Barney messaged him on Facebook, and they knew the NSA would be appalled that these two would do a show together. And now you're about to hear what it is called.
According to Me
and Bunny.
According to Me
and Bunny. This is the theme song for According to Me and Bunny.
From the Kensington Place Studios, it's According to Me and Bunny, Barack Obama, Mitch McConnell, and Donald Trump's second most hated internet radio program. The 2-hour show that lasts 60 minutes and the internet radio program that is 100% behind the stepping down, if you will, from John Boehner. Make no mistake about it. It was because of us. And I am your host, Jason E. Wilkins, with no pants, because, of course, that's optional as dress code here on According to Me and Bunny. And joining me by my side once again, the lovely, the talented, the beautiful, the fourth hottest conservative radio host in all of the land.
Little Bunny foo-foo, hopping through the internet, scooping up some liberals and bopping them on that.
Sam Janney Polita Bunny.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing well. So let me get the folks up to speed on a couple of things here really quick about what we're going to be doing here on the show. Later on in the program, we're going to talk about, I kind of had an epiphany. And it took John Boehner to make me understand why Trump hysteria is happening. I'm not saying it's right, but I kind of sort of get it now. I'll explain that later on in the program. Also, Sam calls me a commie quite often. An update or a little news story in regards to why she calls me that, the asshat of the week, and so much more here on According to Me and Bunny. But let me tell you something, folks. We have so much to talk to you about today, and I'm glad that you guys are here. Sam, how are things going out in the Wild West?
You know, it's really good. My family, we got to go have Chinese buffet, which is always an experience for my kids. It was really fun. I have to tell you a side story about my family because, you know, my family is like what I ramble about a lot. And my daughter is 10, and she decided that she needed to ask me about how the whole baby thing happens. Oh. Don't ask me. Yeah, I know, right? I was kind of hoping I would get to maybe 11 or 12. But she said, Mom, do babies come out of your butt? I said, absolutely.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Sam, everyone in the chat room, please, I hope you're applauding like I am. That's exactly how you answer that question when your child's 10 years old.
Out of your butt. No, it was really cute. And she's funny. She's like, well, I know what sex is, so you don't have to tell me all of it. But she says, babies come out your butt, right?
Yes.
I said, no. I said, maybe your brother, but not really.
Well,
it was really an interesting conversation.
I give birth to butt babies at least twice a day.
Hey, I really don't need to know about your butt.
Okay, I'm just,
the
we all
pants
do.
Thing and the butt baby thing. All you, man. I don't need to know another thing about your butt babies.
So that's a terrible transition, because speaking of babies.
Oh, God.
But on a more butt serious babies. Note, for those of you who visit polititainment.net, the little website that could, which you should do that. If you haven't, you should check it out. Growing stuff, adding some new things to the site here pretty soon. It should be a lot of fun. But in the meantime, it wasn't me, but she's on this show, so you could figure out who I'm referring to. She kind of came up with a little article that I think not only had a pretty big impact, but really, really hit home to a lot of folks over the last couple days, which is, blacking out the pink out of Planned Parenthood. And it spread like wildfire. It had a lot of shares, a lot of traffic to the site, so thank you guys for that. And that was all Bunny, but it shouldn't surprise you, because she gets people moving and up and running. And it was
yeah, this is true.
It was an interesting week, and I know Sam had spent. Again, we try to communicate, Monday and Tuesday of, hey, let's talk about this, blah, blah. Sam was quite busy over the last 2 days, as was I. But she was really engaged and interactive on the Twitters, for those of you who follow her on Twitter, and really talking in mass proportions, both to pro-lifers and especially pro-choicers who are still defending the death baby camp known as Planned Parenthood. So,
yep.
Sam, what are your thoughts on what happened this week and just kind of your experiences that you saw with the blackout campaign that you launched, and just kind of take us through some things, because I'm interested to hear more even from you, because I haven't even heard all of everything, and I'm sure our listeners are as well. So,
well, a lot of the poor listeners probably saw me just railing on these people for the last 3 days, and which has actually probably been the last few weeks, because Planned Parenthood's 501c4, which is like PPAC, they actually have their own little organization that is allowed to be politically active. So not only do they get government money, but they have an organization that gets out there and advocates for what they do politically. And they started out, they're like, we're going to have this big pink out because, you need to stand with Planned Parenthood because these evil, manipulated, doctored, edited videos are trying to destroy, them providing all this great health care for women. So they were having this big old pink out, and because abortion is so pretty and it's pink. And I actually saw it, and I wish I could remember the gentleman's name because I really should give him credit, because when I saw him, he had blacked out Planned Parenthood's logo, and it said, let's black out September 29th. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. So I took it, and you know me, I dumped gasoline on it, and I pushed it. And there were so many great people. A lot of K98 Talk hosts were jumping on there. We had a lot of really powerful big accounts who were telling people to black and white their avatars, blacken out their headers, wear black, because we wanted to remind people that Planned Parenthood isn't pretty, it's not pink, it's black, it's death. And, we didn't want to do blue because blue is all defund, and we really were more about reminding Planned Parenthood what they do. Now, what was significant and what we didn't know at the time, because I just thought they had picked a day to be annoying and obnoxious because that's what, the pro-aborts do. But Cecil Richards was actually doing testimony when they were really pushing this pink out thing, and she was being grilled by the House committee. And so they were trying to sow all this support for Cecil. She's Cruella de Vil. And which time, I don't know if you guys saw this, but she did finally admit that she lied about the mammogram. She could not under oath say they do mammograms. She had to admit they do not. She also admitted that 86% of their revenue comes from abortion. 86%. So while this is all going on, people were like, well, you aren't going to do much. It's the social media. We hit it so hard, and then we realized that there was this message going on with Cecil from the House committee. So we just pounded these people, and not in a good way. And it was really interesting because the pro-lifers, they were more about life and love and taking care of babies. But we were also saying this is not health care. Call it what it is. Call it abortion. And I was still doing that today, even because like Al Franken is all, Cecil Richards is like this awesome leader, and we are so thankful in Minnesota to have her. And I'm like, just call it abortion. We know you mean abortion. We know you mean abortion. Just call it abortion. So, I mean, like for 3 days straight, really, it was like 1 day build up, 2 day push, 3 day of the actual event. It was nonstop Planned Parenthood. And thank you if you're a follower who put up with dozens and dozens of tweets hundreds of tweets from me, pushing the blackout, pushing defunding them, pushing shutting them down. I appreciate you guys putting up with me because I know it can get kind of one topic when you're on Twitter. You're like, okay, shut up. Let's talk about Trump or something now. But thank you for doing that and for joining if you did. My Twitter was lovely. It was black and white. I mean, there was hardly any color on my Twitter or my Facebook. People really took it into different social media areas, and we just pushed it like crazy. You know, what's really sad, though, Jason, is you're talking to, and most of these women are younger women. I didn't run into many. It was either really younger girls or women in their 60s. And the younger girls were like, you're turning on your race and you're turning on your sex. You're a racist because black women need this more than white women. It was so nonsensical that you could tell that there's like that death rattle going on with these people, that they get it, that they know they're in trouble. And I just didn't have it in me to feel sorry for them. And the one thing that did happen and that I thought was very telling about these folks was the one guy's like, my body, my choice, rah, the whole autonomous thing, and it's my body. And I said, well, you know what? You feel free to abort yourself all damn day. That's your body. You want to sell your organs, knock yourself out. Well, then she got all sanctimonious with me. Well, you're pro-life. Why would you say that? And I'm like, you know what? I'm treating you like you treat unborn babies. Not very nice, is it? Blocked me. Well, this is the kind of women we're dealing. And the men are the worst. I'm sorry, Jason. I'm going to be sexist for a minute. The men who are like, yeah, it's a woman's choice. You chicken shits. Because if it's our choice, you don't have to have a say. Well, let the women do what they need to do. It's their bodies. Oh, I totally support women making these choices. Of course you do, asshole, because you don't want to make the choice and support yourself. I despise those guys. I was so mean to them. And I'm not nice anyway, so I was like double mean to these guys, telling me how awesome it was for women to be free to choose to kill their kids, like calling it women's rights. It was just nonstop nonsense. And it's either this younger generation or women in their 60s who can't have babies anymore anyway. And it was just nuts.
As a man, that's always bothered me, however, that it becomes just the woman's right to choose. For those who play the pro-choice game of saying, well, it's a woman's choice, you're right, but it'll quickly be thrown in my face that I got you pregnant, but it'll also be quickly for me to throw in your face that I am the father of this child, and so while you may think it's a decent idea to abort it, what if I don't? Well, that doesn't really matter because it's the woman's choice. It's the woman's right. And I get it. The woman carries the baby. But men are very quickly reminded that they're not just sperm donors. They need to step up and be a dad. Well, you can't have it both ways.
And you're absolutely right. It's like, you don't have a say because it's my uterus, but if I choose to have the baby, you better freaking pay for it.
Exactly. Well, which one is it? Exactly. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Now, here's the thing that also bothers me about this, too. And if we really want to defeat this, and what's funny? Since we've been on the air, Sam, me and you together, this is what, the 5th or 6th episode I think we've done?
I think something like
that. We have done a lot of shows and had a lot of topics, quite frankly, about abortion and Planned Parenthood. And it's not something that we go, let's talk about abortion again. It's not the happy, fun topic anyone wants to talk about. In fact, it's the third rail for most people. Most people don't even want to have that conversation because it's kind of controversial and just well, guess what? We don't care. And when it needs to be discussed, it needs to be discussed. And when you look at two things I really took away from it, the fact that damn near 90% of their revenue comes from abortion.
Yep.
Is tremendous because what you get And this is ammunition if you want to have that argument, if you want to win the debate between pro-choice and pro-life and Planned Parenthood and so on and so forth. First of all, here's how it comes down. Two things. Planned Parenthood provides very to little actual care to any woman other than testing for sexually transmitted diseases, giving prophylactics and contraception out, and aborting babies. Realistically, that's about all they do. So for those who try to say that it offers women's programs and women's care, it's simply not. You know what you can do? You can go to getyourcare.org. Instead of Planned Parenthood, go to getyourcare.org. And if you ever wanted to find what Starbucks are in, say, Chicago, where there's about 950 little dots on the map all over the place, that's what getyourcare.org looks like around the United States when it comes to clinics who will actually give women's health care to women who can't afford to pay for it. So the fact that it has become this twisted mess of, well, if we shut Planned Parenthood down, we're going to have all these women who are going to have STDs and cancer and all of these terrible things because no one's going to care for
fall
them.
over dead.
Yeah, it's just women are just going to be dropping dead in the street. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to be like, I've never set foot in one. I'm 42 years old. I've never been in one. But apparently if the government stops funding them, I'm going to just fall over dead.
Yes.
Because that's just the reality of the most amazing care that they provide. And one of their talking points is how they save lives, which I think it is the most asinine thing, that 86% of their money comes from killing people, but they save lives. Unbelievable.
Well, and I love
nonsense.
Exactly.
Do you know one woman
it's
said,
the same stupid argument of,
they help us stop smoking. Did you know they help us stop smoking? I'm like,
did?
Holy shit. Really?
Wow.
That's a service.
See, the
they help you stop smoking.
The thing that bothers me also about Planned Parenthood as a whole is, look, I'm against abortion. I believe it's murder. I believe it's death. I believe selling the parts of children who are just a bunch of cells until they actually have value. Now they're no longer cells. They're actually human beings that we can make money off of is absolutely sickening. But you know what? You want to continue to do that? I think I just think it's disgusting. But go ahead. That's fine. But guess what? Not $1 should come from the taxpayer. And the fact that we can't even get anyone, well, not anyone, but the fact that that argument isn't even an argument to me is beyond me. The fact that you can say, look, fine, it's the law of the land, Roe versus Wade, whatever. You can do it. But I'm not paying for it. And the fact that we do in a roundabout way, of course, they'll say, well, look, none of the funds go to actually paying for abortion. We simply know that's not true. We simply know that's not true.
You say it's not true, I call bullshit. The thing that really irritates me with all of this funding piece of it is there's all these people who are like so desperate to fight for it. You're right. Write a check. We're done. No more. And then you know what their other argument is? If you say, well, then you pay for it, then they're like, well, then you pay for all the wars. And I'm like, you're so damn dumb that you don't understand what government's role really is. The government is supposed to protect the country. That's what they're supposed to do. They're not supposed to pay for you to have an abortion because you got knocked up. They don't understand that. So then they get all haughty with me about, well, we don't want to pay for wars anymore because you're killing millions of people. I'm like, are you shitting me? I cannot believe the conversations I have. And then you have the ones who are like proud to have an abortion, like they were shouting your abortion last week. They're proud of it. They've never regretted it a single day. I don't understand how you can be that just heartless, and I don't get it.
Well, one of the comments you made that really stuck with me, two things, is for people who say that you're being strong to stand up and shout your abortion. Like you said, strength is seeing the birth of your child through. Strength is being accountable for the fact that you had sex with somebody you regretted having sex with, apparently. Strength is even seeing the pregnancy through to give your child up for adoption. That's strength.
Yes.
Going to Planned Parenthood once, twice, 3 times in a matter of a couple years to get, cells sucked out of you, quote unquote, is not strong at all. It's a cowardice move. And the fact that we look at that as strength now sickens me. It sickens me. It really, really does.
And I think you bring up a really good point in that I think the strongest parent is someone who can truly give themselves up to the pregnancy, and if they know they cannot be a parent, that they give it up for adoption. Because that, to me, is the most selfless love gift. I mean, there's nothing... If you're not ready to be a parent, but you're willing to put yourself through pregnancy, which is not easy, as someone who sucks at being pregnant, I can tell you it is really hard to have a healthy, regular pregnancy. And then to see someone go through that and then give the child away so the child has a better life, that person to me is the strongest of all.
Agreed. And I'll tell you what, it's the fact that, little old Bunny, the fact that there's power in number, folks. And for those of you who were on the Twitters, who were on Facebook, who were, loud and proud and made it known that, we blacked out the pink out, was a pretty phenomenal thing. And I know on behalf of Sam, and I'm sure she'll do it, thank you guys for participating in that. Many of you who are in the chat room did the same thing. A lot of followers of Bunny on the Twitters, followers of mine. I have 7 of them. But the 7 of you,
you do not.
You participated as well. And it meant a lot. It really, really meant a lot. And just know, and you guys are a very, very engaged audience, those who listen to the program and know a lot of things. But understand how to be able to truly have the conversation, but, win hearts and change minds at the same time. There's a way to do it. Yeah. Sam has the very, I'm just going to kill you approach. Which is good. We need that.
I don't kill anyone. I'm an angel of love.
Yes, and peace.
Actually, every time I say I'm an angel, my husband says of death.
Exactly.
Yeah, he thinks he's really funny. And the other piece of it, and yeah, Jason's right, you guys. So much of what happened with the blackout wouldn't have happened without the guys in the chat room and people listening and being willing to change your avies and go the extra mile. And I know people say, well, it's just Twitter, but it means a lot because then they see that there's an opposition. They understand that it's not just shouting about abortion. It's that there are people, women included, who do not support what they're doing. For me, one of the best pieces of the whole event, and I promise I'm not going to cry, was I did post a picture of my daughter who was born at 28 weeks, and she's in the NICU in the isolette. And I made a point of pointing out that Planned Parenthood had recently fought to kill babies her age and older, even in the womb. Remember the whole 20-week ban? They fought against that. And I posted a picture of my daughter right after she had been born at 2.5 pounds in the isolette in the NICU. And all of these beautiful, wonderful people were messaging me about how gorgeous she was, asking me how she had turned out, if they could do anything for me. Some people thought I had just had her, as I was trying to explain, and this is 10 years ago. But that really showed me that this is more than just kicking Planned Parenthood in the nuts, that there is actually this really wonderful, loving message behind what's going on. And I met other preemie parents. Preemie parents are Planned Parenthood's worst nightmare because we understand viability and we've seen tiny babies live. So if you were one of those folks who reached out to me about my daughter, thank you. That meant a lot. And it reminded me why I'm on Twitter and why I fight in the first place. So that's as nice as I'm going to be on the show, Jason. I'm good to go.
Well, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and it was an amazing thing that you shared. And really, really impactful. So again, for those who participated in it, keep the fight on though. Whether it's at work, whether it's personal, whether it's friends and family gathered around the Thanksgiving table, we're having this conversation. Know where you stand, know what the facts are, and be able to have that conversation intelligently without being a jerk and changing hearts and winning the minds of people who are like, you're a crazy teabagger, whatever. But
I'm mean to them. I'm mean to those.
Well,
people.
that's.
But yeah, you're right.
But here's the other thing. Here's who's not mean to you. Actually, our sponsor.
Hey.
If you've heard of all the GoFundMe or Kickstarter sites that people use, I mean, again, it's a great idea. But here's the problem. Usually, political pressure makes those who run these companies and faceless execs kind of cower to pressure over being PC. Well, now there's an alternative. There's a chance to raise funds from friends and supporters, but with a company who has your values and doesn't play politics with it. In fact, speaking of a company who doesn't play politics with it, they actually stand for the things you stand for. Why? Because they were also involved in blacking out the pink out and campaigns that are going to actually places that help people who are less fortunate see their pregnancy through. It was amazing stuff. And who does that? Our good friends at rwnjfunding.com. Great company owned by a great guy who's a fan of the show, listener of the show. And again, the first 10 signups get $10 contributed to their campaign when they reach $100. Free money to go towards your cause or campaign. Go to polititainment.net. Again, the little website that could. Polititainment.net and click on the RWNJ funding banner, or just simply go to the website, rwnjfunding.com. Good dude, great guys, and have your values and your principles in mind.
Yeah.
Now, after the break, it took John Boehner to help me understand the fanaticism around Donald Trump. That's next on According to Me and Buddy.
In our best efforts to anger Bernie Sanders, and because we believe in capitalism, According to Me and Buddy will be back after these messages from our sponsors. According to Me and Buddy, they keep it straight gangsta, yo.
The conversation doesn't have to stop just because we aren't live on the air.
You know, that's true. Chat with us before, during, and after every show by following us on Twitter.
Follow Jason, please. I'm tired of him whining about it. At ATM_show.
Yeah, and follow Sam on Twitter at Politabunny. Or don't follow her. It's not like she's going to notice.
Plus, use the hashtag #MeandBunny throughout the week, and we will read some of our favorite tweets you send on the air.
Hey, listen, I don't think we should be promoting hashtags. I mean, that's a states' rights issue.
Oh, brother. Follow Jason at ATM_show and follow me at Politabunny.
Are you conservative in a world of liberal?
Yep.
Well, you're not alone. Hey, I'm Daniel Stafford, host of the Stafford Voice, and I'd like to invite you to tune in each Monday, 10 p.m. Eastern, where I'll break down the events of the week, and together we'll learn about how they affect you. So, sit back and get ready for the good, the bad, and the ugly of talk radio right here on K98 Talk.
All right, folks, we are now going into week 4 of fantasy football. I played DraftKings again this weekend. The best parts of fantasy football season is when you draft your team and when it's playoff time. And there's some money on the line. Those are the best 2 times. Well, that happens every week for me, and it can for you too. This week, I kind of finished middle of the pack. Out of the money, I'm not going to lie. All I have to say is curse you, Marshawn Lynch. But it's all good. Won't be drafting Marshawn, certainly won't be drafting Ben Roethlisberger, who's out 4 weeks. Hey, is Big Ben on your traditional fantasy team? How are you feeling now? What if your team just sucks and you want to start over? Or what if you're Bunny and her husband who think they're the best fantasy football players in all the world? Well, put your money, Bunny, where your mouth is. Go to DraftKings.com and type in the promo code POLI123, POLI123, and join me. Games start for as little as 25 cents. Yes, 25 cents. Giving away $1 million this weekend. Get started for as little as $5. And since you're a fan of According to Me and Bunny, use the promo code POLI123. They'll match the $5. So now you're up to 10. Real simple. Join me on DraftKings.com this week. Join Bunny if she's got the courage or the guts to do so at DraftKings.com. And again, type in the promo code POLI123. That is POLI123.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Then get on board with the Tax Admiral and let us steer your way to financial freedom.
The IRS is the largest collection agency in the world. They can freeze your bank accounts, seize your car, home, will garnish your paychecks and benefits.
Don't take on the IRS alone. I can fight for you using industry secrets that can help stop the IRS. I'll cut your penalties, slash your interest, and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company with over 30 years experience helping people clean up their mess with the IRS. And we have a 95% customer satisfaction rating.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, are facing an audit, a lien, or levy, then call me right away.
Call 800-329-6481. Again, that's 800-329-6481. 800-329-6481. 800.
While you're liking dozens of cat memes and pictures of people's food, make sure you like us on Facebook.
And we know you're on Facebook. We get your Candy Crush requests. But good idea, Bunny. Like the According to Me and Bunny show on Facebook simply by searching for According to Me Show and click like.
We share all the latest updates about the show, plus our favorite news stories, so like us.
Hey, Sam, don't you have your own Politabunny Facebook page?
Yes, like my page too. Find me on Facebook and like the GOP Bunny page.
GOP Bunny page? Ugh, that's awful. Why would you do that?
I have wanted to change it for years, but Mark Zuckerberg is a fascist bigot pig. Anyway, Facebook.com/According to Me Show and Facebook.com/GOP Bunny.
Bunny and Boehner sitting in a tree. KISS. Okay.
According to Me and Bunny, never PC, never gluten-free.
Welcome back to the show, folks. Now, normally before every episode, and for those of you who accepted the Facebook invite, you saw that Bunny and I were having some fun back and forth changing the name of the show.
Mine were the best.
Sure. Anyway.
Jason is a poopy head. That was the best name of the show, don't you think?
I think Sam wants to feel the burn. But
no, that sucked, dude. Real quick, you know how I was telling you how I have people complaining at me for swearing on the show. Mm-hmm. People always they're always bitching at me. Anyway, people, I said in the chat, would you let people know I said shit 3 times? My haters want to know. Thank you, Trig. And I think it was Ron and Rev who were out on Twitter already telling my haters I said shit 3 times.
Oh,
so
geez.
Thank you for being givers and supporting the show. And my haters, you're good people. Thank you.
Should we have a swear jar? Should we have an According to Me and Bunny swear jar?
God, I would be so broke.
See, I'd be fine. I'd be fine.
Yeah, you know, I don't know how you do it.
I
can't go an hour. I don't know how you do it.
Those of you who know me off the air know that's not how I talk. However, I can turn it on and off. That's all. But
you know, if I stop, be like, something's wrong with Sam. She didn't say a dirty word tonight. We're really worried something's going on with Sam.
True.
I would get all these messages. Are you doing okay? You didn't say shit tonight.
See, and that used to be me. It still is to this day. If I'm ever quiet for any reason, I'm usually asked, hey, what's wrong? And I'm like, nothing. I'm just reading or, not being loud.
Read?
Yes, I do.
You can read?
I do. Yeah, we'll talk about that later on in the program. Thanks, Bunny. But anyway, the reason why I say that is if you're in the chat room, and I know a lot of you are, and thanks for being there. We love you. Smooches.
Smooches.
Do us a favor. Name our show tonight. We've called the show before, According to Me and Bunny, KY causes friction. Haha, get it? Kentucky. Top and bottom. GOP, rapping with the GOP. Right, exactly. Jason's a poopy head, all of that good stuff. So if you have an idea of what we can name this week's episode, this week's podcast, on International Podcast Day, just say it. Maybe we'll throw you a little love out on the Twitters. So come up with a name, put it in the chat room, or just even hashtag me and Bunny. Let us know either way, so we can come up with a name for this night's episode. Maybe you'll listen to the whole show and go, okay, now I know what I should call it. You call it whatever you want, and we'll take
It's Raining Men.
No, not that one.
Ted says we should call it It's Raining Men. I like that. It's kind of like Raining Men. You know what would be really cool is if the best one we take from all the suggestions and we rename the podcast when we put it out, we can give it their name.
Oh, dear God. You want to do that?
Hell yeah, that'd be awesome. Because, one of the things that I liked when I was doing my own little thing was that so many of them were involved in making the show happen because they do the douchebags and stuff with me. Mm-hmm. I love your idea of them naming it because we couldn't come up with it, although I still think Jason as a poopy head would have been awesome. If the name is good enough, I think that's what we should name our podcast when we release it out after the show.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see what we get. Give us your votes.
3 shits and a chainsaw.
Nice. So keep those coming. We'll read those and try to come up with a name of the show this evening. Yeah, we're good. But anyway.
Rock out with your Glock out. That's good one, Maiden. I offended Mark because he's a truck driver, and I said truck drivers talk dirty. Sorry, Mark. Get over it.
Oh.
USS Paul F. Foster is the Boston CAC. I'm just reading. Go ahead. Small boy, nice. Never mind.
Hey, Sam, we're live. I don't know if you know we're live or not. Okay. But I had, speaking of that, side note.
Yeah. Side note.
Real quick before we get into Trump. If you haven't gone to polititainment.net, we now have a little store at the top of the screen where you can shop for swag. And we now have something that I've been waiting a long time for. And our good friend Daniel Stafford of the Stafford Voice, of course, came up with not only the bit, but the actual product itself. If you want to get a t-shirt or a coffee mug or any sort of swag that is of Miss Taliban, prettiest goat I've ever seen. You can get that on the Politainment.net website. Click on Shop for Swag. The new Miss Taliban t-shirt is available for you. You can get coffee mugs. You can get all types of things right on there with more to come. So sorry to plug that, but Daniel, who did the Miss Taliban bit, which is fantastic. If you
God, that's funny.
Subscribe to us, our podcasts, whether on iTunes or on SoundCloud. You can check out Miss Taliban. Just very, very funny. So it's available for you to check out. But
we are not rhinos. Mark just said we should call it the Trump-hating Rhino Show.
Mark's banned
I think we should make Trump. I think we should make Mark leave the chat room.
Yeah, Mark's banned from the show from now on. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for playing. NSA, if you're listening, take care of that.
We know
for
where
me.
Mark lives.
Yeah, we do. But I think I've come up with a real understanding, at least, and I'm not advocating for it, but I think because I've been racking my brain for months, and I know you and I have talked about this on the show. I can't understand why people like Donald Trump and why people are excited about Donald Trump, and people who consider themselves conservatives are excited for Donald Trump. I just couldn't understand it, and I now kind of do. Mm-hmm. And it took John Boehner and his resignation to make me realize it and understand it. And here's what I mean by that. In 2013, I officially left the GOP. After the 2012 midterm election, after the 2012 election, and after I got to see in 2010 when they won the House that they did absolutely nothing with the majority of the House, I realized that this is all a game. And I no longer support the GOP. Haven't for quite some time. And the reason why I did is because I no longer was okay with voting for the Republican because he may suck slightly less. If you don't stand for the principles and the things that I believe in, and we do not stand for actual conservative small government principles and values, I'm not voting for you, and I don't give a crap if you have an R or a D next to your name. So that's where I've been for quite some time.
Sure.
But a lot of people, despite me saying that, some agree with that stance. Many don't. They go, yeah, I get it. But come on. Are you going to tell me if it's Hillary or Jeb Bush, you're going to vote for Hillary? No, I'm just going to vote for Jim Beam.
I'm going to vote for Bernie Sanders.
I'm going to vote for Jim Beam is what I'm going to vote for in that election. I'm not voting for either of them. And but you're just giving it to the Democrats, then so freaking be it. Because the Republican and the GOP establishment has continually, time and time again, played us and played you for a fool for thinking in the end you're still going to vote for their guy. Done with that.
They're the same thing. You might as well just. They're both progressives, whether they're Republican progressive or a Democrat progressive. They're all progressives. And
the way I look at it, if they're still progressives, the difference between a Democratic and a Republican progressive is one takes you to socialism in a Porsche, one takes you to socialism in a moped. It's still the same direction. It may be a little slower, but it's the same direction. And
right, I agree.
The thing is also, the GOP, the Republicans, are perpetual losers. Flat out. And
marketing sucks.
Even when they're on the brink of winning, they figure out a way to lose. And you look at the countless times of the House having the majority, now the Senate having the majority, and yet during those times we have bills that we fund with no repercussions whatsoever. We raise the debt ceiling time and time again. We say that we're going to fight back on the things the president wants, but in the end, he gets what he wants because we have John Boehner and Mitch McConnell to thank for being spineless pieces of crap. And so when John Boehner leaves, it really put into perspective what an absolute loser this guy is.
Oh, yeah.
And because of that, it really made me take a step back and go, even though they're wrong, I think what Republicans that are still true blue, big GOP, big tent kind of moderate Republicans, and even those who consider themselves conservatives, I think the reason why they back Trump is simply because they are tired of losing, and they are tired of having their party run by people who don't know how to win if victory stared them in the face. And while Donald Trump will deliver none of the things he says that he can, the simple fact that he says we are going to win, the simple fact that he says I don't give a damn what anyone says about me, is attractive to those type of folks, to where they're so tired of losing and they're so tired of getting their ass kicked by Democrats that they simply go, you know what, at least this guy is going to try to win, and he's not going to apologize for trying to kick some ass. I'm not saying what he says is valid or right or anything, but I think for the first time I kind of sort of understand that people are reacting emotionally, obviously not based on facts or principles, but simply are just tired of getting kicked in the nuts. And so they feel, if I back this guy won't apologize. This guy will do crap who he pisses off. And I'm tired of PC, and I'm tired of this, and I'm tired of that, and I'm tired of losing to the Democrats. And I think that's the main draw of the Trump supporter. It's not based on facts, but it's purely based on emotion and a tire and just growing tired of losing. That's my opinion. What do you think, Sam? I know you're a big Trump fan, but seriously, I mean, am I onto something here? I think that's the only explanation. Is they're just tired of getting their ass kicked, and they want somebody who will kick ass back. That's it.
Huh. Jason, you ignorant slut. I'm just kidding. You know, I was going to say that on the radio. You know, I think what you're saying, there is definitely some merit to that, because when you deal with a Trump supporter, there is definitely an emotional thing there for them. You know, when I originally came out and I'm like, you know what, this guy is full of shit, and he's really not. That was number 5, guys. I really expected people to be open to dialoguing about it, because I really think, because, you know, that's what we do on the right. We discuss, we debate. And I came out and I said, hey, you know, I have a problem with him because he's been very pro-choice and he's been very anti-gun. And you would not believe the personal attacks. It was not me just being mean out of the gate. Now, I know a lot of people think that I'm just mean, but typically you have to give me a reason. Unless you're a pro-abort, then I'll probably slap you. But it was very emotional. It was very, well, you want Bush and you want the establishment. You're going to kill this country. Die, rhino bitch. And then they block me, you know, or they don't talk to me anymore. Or they set my house on fire. There's something there, and I think it's nicer to say it's emotional versus mental. I will be honest, I think some of these people are mentally off. Because when you talk to them, it is all about, well, you don't understand what he's going to do to fix this country. And you can say, well, what is he going to do to fix this country? He's going to win. Yep, that's what I'm saying. What the hell does that mean?
It's not based on anything.
It doesn't matter, because he's going to win.
See, I liken it to...
But no, if he wins and he's a piece of crap and he has horrible ideas, he'll destroy this country.
Right, but guess what? He has an R next to his name, so we still win.
But then if you say, guess what? He's really not a Republican. Look at all these quotes from his past, calling Hillary this awesome person and how much money he gave her and how, you know, they went to his wedding, and then you show them quotes about him saying automatic weapons should be banned, and you say he stood on the Republican debate stage and pushed progressive taxes, and they're like, he's going to win. It drives me nuts. And, you know, even on Facebook, you know, the grandma of social media, even on Facebook, you know, there are events, there are things going on where people who don't like Trump are kind of gathering, because if you go out into the mainstream, you say, well, I think Donald Trump's kind of stupid. It is like a shitstorm. There's number 6, guys. And so they're forming these groups, but then the Trump people are infiltrating the groups and they're attacking, and it's awful. You know, I remember when I first got onto Twitter, and some guy who I'd never spoke to told me, you know, to die in a fire. It was a liberal. I never thought and I'm being completely honest here, I never thought that I would see this kind of behavior from the right, because the right's always about the individual and celebrating what the person offers. We don't go in groups. We all think for ourselves. And these people who you call emotional, I'm going to call batshit, because I tell you what, there is no rational, there is no common sense. It is just, he's going to win and you don't like him, so you should burn in hell. That's what it is.
I liken it to, for those of you who are sports fans out there, I just liken it to your favorite baseball team or football team. We're just constantly getting your ass kicked year after year after year after year after year. And then a head coach is finally hired and he goes, look, we're going to win. And you go, yes, it's about time. Yes, yeah. All I want to do is win. My team has sucked for decades. I just want to win. And so even if the head coach makes no sense, and even if the head coach can't coach, and even if the head coach has no plays drawn up or anything, you still go, yeah, but for God's sake, at least he's talking about winning. And Republicans don't know how to do it.
Finally, we really do have some candidates worth looking at.
Oh, absolutely.
There are some smart people running this time. It's not like, oh, it's McCain, or oh, it's Romney, or oh, it's Huckabee. And Huckabee, God forbid, he is running again. But you have some real smart. Ted Cruz is a smart dude. I wish he'd stop the smoochy love with Trump, but he's so smart, and he's a great debater, and he's mean. And his mean is not for show. He will eat you up because it's the right thing to do, not because it gets ratings. I like Cruz. I think Carly's great. I think Rubio, and if you're going to yell at me, but I think Rubio is spot on and sharp as a tack. Carson's great. We have some really big opportunities for real leaders, and this dumbass is just making it a joke. He drives me insane.
Well, I think the train's fallen off the tracks in regards to Trump. You're starting to see it. You're starting to see the decline. You're starting to see that. And again, by the way, I didn't even talk about this. Again, let's look at the Iowa polls time and time again. Look at the guys who are leading right now. Seriously. Mm-hmm. You have Rubio and Fiorina tied for third. Rubio, you can count as a politician, obviously. But you got Trump, Carson, Fiorina. Those are your top three.
Yep.
And who are they? People who aren't politicians. So...
Did you see, though, that they are Trump and Carson via NBC are statistically tied now?
Yeah, but Carson's... anyway, we don't have a lot of time to get into that.
Carson is a really nice guy, and I think he's really a brilliant man.
He's just not a president, folks. I'm sorry.
But I like him. I like him more than Trump. If they said, hey, you got to take one of these guys, I'd pick Carson in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I would too, but there's so many guys that are better than him. Sorry.
And I think Rubio's one of them.
No, absolutely. I would do that. I would do, Rand Paul has, we don't got a lot of time to talk about this, but when Rand basically just called out Ted Cruz and basically said, well, the reason why the guy has no friends in the Senate is because he's a wild cannon and he's loose and he's just, he has no friends. He can't get anything done. And I'm like, hey, Rand, this is the problem I've had. And we talked about this many, many moons ago, Sam. The one thing reason why I cannot 100% say Rand's my guy is one reason only, and it came to fruition again this week, which is, Rand, when you had the chance to support Matt Bevin and kick Senator Mitch the Turtle McConnell out of office, you supported the turtle. Why?
He did support the turtle. Well, because in his back of his mind, he wanted support me. I'm going to run for president, and for some reason he thinks Mitch McConnell is going to be able to give him a boost. So he's like, well, I don't want to piss Mitch off. There's something there he gained from doing that.
Well, he bet on the wrong dude. That I can tell you.
He really did. But, for him to call Cruz a loose cannon is kind of, I guess, was it hypocritical?
Oh, yeah.
Because if you look at Rand.
If there's anybody who's a red ass, it's Rand Paul.
Really, and that's one of the reasons I like him, and that's one of the reasons why I like Ted. I like them to be loose cannons. I don't want them to be Mitch McConnell's, but I don't want them to be batshit crazy. That's number 8. Thank you, Rev. I don't want them to be Donald Trump either.
No, I agree. Folks, going to take a real quick break. When we come back, before we get into the ass hat of the week, Sam will no longer be able to call me a commie soon. I'll explain. That's next on According to Me and Bunny.
Barack Obama and Mitch McConnell's second most hated internet radio program will be right back. Don't go anywhere, or I'll find you. According to me and Bunny, where listening is mandatory, but pants are always optional.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom170.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom170.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 170.com. Go to freedom170.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom170.com.
It's happening and nothing can stop it. It's the dramatic reinvention of Talk Radio.
Here come the spy dolphins.
The only thing that can cure racism is Robert E. Lee's penis.
Who named this cat Limberbutt McCubbin? A Trump-Biden debate.
Plugs versus rugs. Real serious nonsense. The show's so bad, you'll laugh at us.
The worst podcast. We obviously hold that title.
Mondays, 9 p.m. Eastern on K98 Talk.
Hey, Sam, do you have any advice for those who miss our show when we're live every Wednesday night?
Yeah, they can stop hating America.
Well, obviously, but besides that.
Well, they can check out the podcasts.
That's true. You can catch According to Me and Bunny podcasts on SoundCloud, on Stitcher, on Spreaker, on iTunes, on TuneIn.
We get it. They can find us everywhere because I'm so freaking awesome.
It's always got to be about the bunny.
Whatever.
According to Me and Bunny.
All right, folks, coming down the home stretch of the show. Now, real quick, before I talk about a reason that Sam will no longer call me a commie, if you joined us last week and you listened to the show, whether live or the podcast, you know, by the way, Sam, I still need that $3 that you were going to give me.
Oh, not happening.
Because I shared with you a book that you can buy on Amazon called Force Gay by Aliens.
This scares me.
For the low price of just $2.99. And the way you can do that is go to polititainment.net, click on the Amazon banner at the top of the page, buy Force Gay by Aliens, and send it to Sam for show research. You should do that. But if you're not going to do that, Sam, you don't want to get me the Force Gay by Aliens book.
No Force Gay by Aliens.
Can I get $20?
Are you on crack?
Yeah, no, this is way better, though. Listen.
What's this one called?
Does your husband have facial hair, Sam, or no?
He does. He has a very full beard, actually.
Now, my wife hates it on me, and I can't grow facial. Oh, perfect. So, you know what? Don't send me the money. Get this for your husband. Check it out. It's the Goatee Saver, and you can get this on Amazon.com, okay? Check it out. It's the Goatee Shaving Template.
So you do that for Chris Flesh.
Yeah, you create a perfectly shaped goatee every time. Easy to use and easy to clean, adjustable, and fits. And the way it works is you put this thing in your mouth, and then it covers your entire goatee area. So you can just shave around the template.
Wow.
So you have a perfect goatee every single time. And here's my favorite part. You save time and effort because you no longer have to stare in the mirror to determine if your goatee lines are just right. You don't have to do that anymore.
Put it in the chat so people could find it.
Yes, actually, I don't. I have too much ADD. But if you want to go to polititainment.net, click on the Amazon banner at the top of the page. Somebody in the chat room, please do this. Type in Goatee Saver and share that with everybody in the room. It'll be the perfect gift. You can get it for Halloween. You can get it for Christmas. You can give it for Kwanzaa. It's just going to be a
Kwanzaa.
great gift idea.
You have a lot of free time or something, don't
Yeah.
you?
So again, get the Goatee Saver or Force Gay by Aliens, and the only way to do that is to go to polititainment.net, click on the Amazon banner at the top of the page. Okay, so real quick.
Do not send me Force Gay by Aliens.
Well,
No.
okay. Someone please send a copy of Force Gay by Aliens to Sam. She really wants it. She'll
No,
read it
Jason-
for show
Jason
research.
wants it.
Fine. Someone get Sam the Goatee Saver.
No.
I'll take Force Gay by Aliens. But either
Yeah,
way,
Force Gay by Aliens.
go to
That's great.
polititainment.net and click on the Amazon banner at the top of the page, and you can do all of that stuff. You should do that totally. Speaking
You scare
of
me. You scare
now,
me.
Sam and I chat, not just on the show. We of course chat back and forth before the show, after the show, during the week. Part of the Polititainment game, we chat all the time with our good friends Angie and Powell from Real Serious Nonsense, the worst podcast of all time, by the way, on International Podcast Day. The worst, by far and away the worst.
They won the award.
Well, I know. We can say definitively the worst podcast because it's been proven. They've won the award for worst.
They won the award for the worst podcast.
Yes.
God love them.
So check them out every Monday at 9 p.m. right here on K98 Talk. They're the worst show of all time. But we talk quite a bit, and we've also talked here on the show in regards to something. Now, we are 30 years away from something that's happening on October 21st. October 21st of 2015 is a special date for some people because it happens to be the date that Michael J. Fox and Doc travel on Back to the Future 2. So, many of you have told me, by the way, that I'm a communist. Sam calls me a commie all the time because I've never seen Back to the Future.
You're a communist.
There's a short that's available on October 21st. You're actually going to see it. It's actually a small short movie with Doc, who is the old guy. Again, I've never seen the movie, so I don't know.
He's the old guy.
So he's the old guy. So you'll see that. And I guess the New York Symphony Orchestra is going to be doing the entire music to Back to the Future on October 15th and 16th. But here's my commitment to you, Sam, and to the audience. If you're an Amazon Prime member, which I am, Amazon Prime is streaming Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3 now on Amazon Prime for free to be able to watch wherever and whenever you have internet access on any device you have. So I make the commitment to you in this audience that by the end of October, I will watch Back to the Future.
So you'll know who the old guy is.
Yes.
And why he's significant.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing funnier than listening to someone tell something about a movie. They have no idea what the movie is about.
No, I know. I know that there's like 1.21 gigawatts. I hear that all the time. And I try to pretend I know what the hell you're talking about. But yeah, and I know there's the DeLorean. I know certain pop culture references.
No, Jason has not seen the Goonies. I'm looking at the
I've
chat.
seen
He's
the
not
Goonies.
Seen the Goonies,
I've seen the Goonies. I do get questioned a lot of time by, who is it? Oh, man. One
You've
of our
not seen 16 Candles either, have you?
No, I haven't. One of our Twitter followers always like, well, American Graffiti, he said the other day.
Papa.
Yeah.
Papa, it's Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
likes
Ken
to
Schmidt.
do hard
And he's
time
just
kids.
like,
you're a communist.
yeah, people think I'm insane because I've never watched movies. And my question to you is simply this. I said, hey, Sam, did you watch Game 6 of the World Series last year? And she's like, no. Well, why? Because she doesn't give a crap? Well, neither do I. About watching Lord of the Rings or any movies like that. It's just not my thing.
But Lord of the Rings is like, okay, it's a great movie, but it's not something that you'll watch probably more than once unless you're like a LOTR fanatic. But like things like 16 Candles and Back to the Future and the Goonies, these are like staples of cinema for a lot of us who are Gen Xers who can watch that over and over and over again because it's part of who we were. So you're still a communist for not having seen them.
And if you want to question me, follow me on the Twitters at ATM_show or hashtag me and Bunny. I will answer all of your movie questions so you can make fun of me and go, are you serious, dude? You haven't seen this. I will be honest and tell you I have. It's pretty mind-blowing, the stuff I haven't seen, or at least it pisses people off. But
You've not seen anything.
No, I have. Just not all the. I'm just not a movie guy.
Like
Sorry.
Force Gay by Aliens, is that on DVD?
Oh, now that I would watch.
Seen.
That I would watch, absolutely.
Oh God.
I would pay attention to that. And speaking of paying attention, it's time for everyone to pay attention to this week's Ass of the Week.
Oh.
Hey,
for this week's
This week's Asshat of the Week. I could wait because I think, sadly, sooner or later, eventually, he's going to give us many other reasons to be the Asshat of the Week, but I'm going to do it now. And this guy was on Hannity's show recently and was asked about, hey, if you had to give a grade to John Boehner as speaker, what would it be? This guy said a B-. Now, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, whether you're a rhino, whether you're a moderate, whether you are a socialist, whether you are a libertarian, no one on the planet should give John Boehner a B-. No one. No one. At all. I would rather have cockroaches be the House Speaker than John Boehner.
Uh-huh.
They would do better job, easily, and they're hard to kill.
Absolutely. They are.
But this guy gave him a B-. Now, he should be an asshat for one of two reasons. Either A, he truly thinks the job John Boehner did is worthy of a B-. And if it is, and he believes that, woo, is he an asshat? If he is simply saying that to pay homage to his boy, he's also an asshat. Either way, Kevin McCarthy, the guy who wants to be the Speaker of the House, the California, soon-to-be hopeful in his mind House Speaker, is possibly going to be as bad, if not maybe worse than John Boehner, but at least he'll be less orange. But other than that, this guy is Boehner Part 2, an absolute disaster. And by far and away, if he's House Speaker, there'll be many more of these awards to come. But let's be proactive and automatically say right now, Kevin, you, my friend, are this week's Asshat of the Week.
Dude, did you see the chat? I gotta tell you this.
Tune in next week for another exciting installment of Asshat of the Week.
Okay, we're going a little over, but Sam's talking about the chat. So before we get out of here, what did I miss? What's going on?
Well, what's funny was you were talking about how Kevin McCarthy, and you were leading into it, and I'm like, I don't remember seeing this. Maiden in the chat said, Kevin fucktard McCarthy. I just have to share it. I thought it was so funny. She doesn't like him. She had a nastier word for him than asshat, so.
Well, there you
I
go.
thought I'd share that.
I would tell you also that, should we have a drinking game involving Sam and curse words?
I would be in real trouble.
No, not you, just the listeners. What do you think? Do you think that's a good idea?
You think no one would be sober by the end of the show?
I'll just have a sound effect that says drink every single time. And we'll take that from there. But no, thanks for participating in the chat room. Again, stick around in the chat so we can get caught up on a couple things just because the show's over. We're still going to hang out in the chat room for a couple minutes because, again, we want to get your answer or your nomination, if you will, of what we should name this week's episode of the show. But very glad that you guys were here this week. This week we covered a lot of stuff. We talked abortion. We talked blacking out the pink out. We talked why I'll no longer be a commie soon. We talked about the reason why people like Trump. I kind of sort of get it now, even though he still sucks.
I don't get it.
Either way. But I get you, Sam. And I get our audience. Thank you guys for listening. But until then, until we see you again, good night, America.
Thanks for being here.